I'm 29 years old, a child behavioral interventionist in Seattle earning $54,000 a year. My husband, Ethan, is a paramedic with the local fire department. We work hard, save diligently, and live a steady middle-class life. We've never asked our families for money. On July 12, 2025, my parents chose to spend $25,000 attending a so-called trauma healing luxury retreat in Colorado, completely missing my wedding. It wasn't because they couldn't afford to come, it wasn't an emergency. It was simply because they believed my younger sister Zoe, who has social anxiety, needed the retreat more than I needed them. I held my head high and walked through my wedding with dignity. What they didn't know was that the very sister they used as their excuse had already made a choice of her own. What broke them wasn't the empty seats, but who was sitting in them, and who stood beside me. My parents treated my strength as proof that I didn't need love. She's sensitive to environmental changes and needs guidance with emotional regulation, but she is far from incapable of living independently. 2 years ago, she graduated from community college. She now works part-time at the Seattle Public Library, 4 days a week, earning $15 an hour. She drives, has her own social circle, and functions far better than my parents would ever admit. I worked 2 part-time jobs to put myself through college and graduated with honors in behavioral intervention, the first in my family to complete a 4-year degree. My parents, however, were willing to spend $9,000 a year on unverified healing programs for Zoe, nearly $200,000 over a decade, yet not a single dollar on my education. They always said, Zoe needs special care. But they never understood the difference between support and control, between care and dependency. In May 2020, at my college graduation, they promised to attend. On the morning of the ceremony, Zoe had an emotional episode triggered by loud music. My parents stayed for 20 minutes, then left during the opening speech. They never celebrated with me afterward. In March 2023, I received the Rising Intervention Specialist Award from the Seattle Education Association. I reminded my parents repeatedly for 2 months. My mother deliberately scheduled Zoe's routine checkup for that exact evening. When I questioned her, she said, "Your award is a small thing. Zoe's health matters more." Later, I learned the doctor had multiple available time slots. She chose that one on purpose. Again, it was Ethan who sat beside me, quietly holding my hand. In August 2024, during our engagement party planning, my mother cried and insisted we postpone because Zoe had mild stomach discomfort from a new supplement. I gave in. We lost over $400 in cancellation fees, and many guests couldn't attend the rescheduled event. At the party, Zoe was completely fine chatting, scrolling her phone, relaxed. That was the moment something inside me broke. It was never about Zoe. It was about making my life revolve around her. Zoe once told me privately she wanted to apply for an independent living apartment designed for people with anxiety. That's when I realized my mother didn't want Zoe to heal. On Christmas Eve 2023, Ethan and I announced our wedding date, July 12, 2025. My mother helped with planning. Zoe excitedly picked out bridesmaid dresses. I even arranged special accommodations for Zoe. A quiet room, sensory-friendly meals, shorter ceremony time, no flash photography. I thought I had considered everything. 3 months before the wedding, my mother excitedly told me about a luxury retreat in Colorado designed for emotionally sensitive individuals. The dates? There won't be another opportunity like this for Zoe, she said. This wasn't about timing, it was about control. When I asked Zoe privately, she looked confused. "I never said I wanted to miss your wedding," she told me. Mom said this was what I needed. The pressure escalated. My mother sent endless success stories. She used Zoe's health to guilt me. My father supported her. "You have Ethan. Zoe only has us." That was when I set my boundary. The wedding would not be moved. My parents booked the retreat anyway. They announced in the family group chat that they would be supporting Zoe through an important psychological treatment, and regrettably couldn't attend my wedding. They made themselves look selfless. My Aunt Leah immediately called me furious and offered to walk me down the aisle. That was the moment I stopped hoping for my parents to choose me. To avoid facing empty front row seats, I hired a retired couple, George and Irene. They specialize in supporting people estranged from their families during weddings. They didn't pretend to be my parents. They simply showed up. And that was enough. Zoe, with help from my aunt and Ethan's sister, made the bravest decision of her life. She secretly booked a flight. She left me a note. "This is my decision. I don't want to miss your day." The wedding day was perfect. George and Irene sat in the seats meant for my parents, smiling warmly. My aunt walked me down the aisle. Ethan stood waiting for me, eyes full of tears. The ceremony was simple and beautiful. I didn't think Zoe would make it. Then I saw her wearing the bridesmaid dress I had chosen for her, standing at a distance, nervous but hopeful. She had flown nearly 1,000 miles. For the first time in her life, she defied our parents. For me, I ran to her and held her, crying. At the reception, Zoe stood to speak. Her voice was soft but steady. My sister prepared a quiet room, a comfortable dress, and my favorite food. Even when she thought I wouldn't come, she still made space for me. Love isn't forcing someone to give in. It's making room for them. The room erupted in applause. George and Irene wiped away tears. We took a family photo. It included Ethan, Zoe, George, Irene, and everyone who truly showed up for me. I posted it online with a simple caption. They said I shouldn't be the center of the family. They were right. Love should be. George and Irene are strangers who chose to be there. Zoe crossed 1,000 miles to stand beside me. This is what family looks like. The post went viral. My parents, still in Colorado, saw it. They realized Zoe wasn't with them. They drove back to Seattle overnight. But it was too late. Worse still, my father discovered my mother had secretly refinanced their home. She borrowed an additional $30,000, not just for the retreat, but for expensive supplements and spa treatments. She told him it only cost $18,000. At over 50 years old, my father now faces 15 more years of mortgage payments for 2 weeks of luxury. After returning, they faced social backlash. My mother tried to defend herself online, but no one listened. Eventually, she resigned from her job and withdrew from society. My father apologized to me. Our relationship is slowly healing. Zoe moved in with me temporarily. Soon after, she transitioned into her own independent apartment. With proper support, she's thriving, more confident, even earning a promotion. George and Irene have become part of our lives. We celebrate holidays together. It feels warm, real. I finally understand. Blood doesn't define family. Family is who shows up. Who respects your choices. Who stands beside you no matter what. I don't have to forgive my mother's control. I don't have to compromise my boundaries. I only need to protect my peace and cherish those who truly love me. Those who use family needs as control were never acting out of love. Those who say you're strong enough to be ignored never truly see you. And me? I no longer need my parents' approval to live a full and honest life.